What's going on, everybody? Esri Rozier here. So, the mark of a great team is the ability to come off a loss and get right back on track. The mark of a great team is the ability to deal with adversity. And this will be a very intriguing game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The most intriguing game that we've played so far this year because for the first time all season, we'll get to see how the Eagles respond to a loss. We are coming off a very sloppy affair against the Commanders on Monday night. I just called them Commanders. Commodes. Commodes. I meant to say Commodes. We're coming off a very sloppy affair against Washington on Monday night, a primetime contest at Lincoln Financial Field. So many things went wrong in that game. So many problems in that game. One-dimensional offense, terrible defense. And you know what? Even with all the mistakes we made, even with Washington dominating the game clock, even with Washington dominating the trenches in that game, we still had a chance to win that game. In the fourth quarter, we were still pushing to win that game. If Quez Watkins doesn't fumble that 48-yard game, we win. I have no doubt in my mind about that. If Quez Watkins holds on to that ball, we win that game. I do believe so. So this game, we have the Indianapolis Colts. And this is a very interesting team because, as we all know, Frank Reich, their previous head coach, was fired after a 26-3 loss against the New England Patriots. And that rubbed me the wrong way because, listen, we all remember what Frank Reich did as offensive coordinator for our Philadelphia Eagles, helped us win our first Super Bowl in 2017. So hearing him get fired, seeing how he got fired before the season even ended, seeing Frank Reich get fired in the middle of the season, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I really was disappointed to see that. I mean, he was 3-5-1, but I didn't think that he deserved to get fired in the middle of the season. But nonetheless, now they have former Colts player Jeff Saturday as their head coach. And in his first game as Indianapolis Colts head coach, the Colts go into Las Vegas and they beat the Raiders. They beat the Raiders. Now, admittedly, the Raiders are nothing special this year. The Raiders are nothing to write about. They're 2-7, one of the worst teams in the league. But that game was in Las Vegas. And the Colts went into Las Vegas and they beat the Raiders. And Jeff Saturday, he had that team looking different. The Colts looked like a revitalized team in Las Vegas. You saw Jonathan Taylor looking like the Jonathan Taylor that we saw last year in 2021. We saw 2021 Jonathan Taylor in that game running for over 150 yards, I believe. I think they ran for over 200 yards in total. The Colts ran for over 200 yards in Las Vegas. That was an extremely impressive output by the Indianapolis Colts, even against a 2-7 Raiders team. So this game, what are the keys to the Eagles winning this game, getting back on track, and improving to 9-1? I want to start with the offensive side on the ball. Diversify the offense. Diversify the offense. So one of the problems in this Washington game we just had on Monday night, we came out passing the ball. That's not smart football. That's not like how you're not going to win a game coming out just passing. It's not going to work. That's something that I expect from the 2021 Eagles. That's something out of the 2021 Eagles playbook. That shouldn't be in the 2022 Eagles playbook. This is a different team from last year. Like watching that game, being at Lincoln Financial Field Monday night and seeing us just pass the ball in the first half, it gave me flashbacks of last year. It gave me flashbacks of how we didn't run the ball during the first half of 2021, how you went on that Thursday night game against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you only run the ball one time in the first half. You can't do that. Like, you have to have a healthy blend of passing and running the ball. You have to blend it. You have to diversify the offense. You can't just pass the ball. Like just mix it up, mix it up. This was the first time I really saw that on a major scale this year. There was some points earlier where I saw that, like against the Pittsburgh Steelers one point in the first half where I thought that we were getting too pass happy. But the first half of this Washington game, it was really bad. Like, you can't just open a game just passing the ball like that. And that's not even a knock on Jalen Hurts. It's just it's going to get predictable. And then the teams, you make yourself one-dimensional on offense. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they're one of the toughest teams in the league against the run. It's really tough to run on the Indianapolis Colts. And you know what? I don't even care because if you guys remember – back in week 4 against the Jaguars when Doug Peterson returned to Lincoln Financial Field, the Jaguars came into that game as the toughest defense against the run. And guess what? That didn't stop the Philadelphia Eagles. We still ran the ball. Miles Sanders had a career day, I think like 130-something yards, 2 touchdowns. We ran for over 200 yards in that game, I believe. We had an extraordinary running game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who boasted the league's top run defense. So the way I see this Colts game, don't get discouraged by the Colts' stout run defense. Still run that ball. We saw us do this against the Jaguars in the rain at Lincoln Financial Field. You can do this against the Colts. Don't stray away from running the ball. You got to run the ball. So as we all know, of course, the worst news of this week was that Dallas Goedert got sent to injured reserve, dating in result of an injury, a shoulder injury, off that play where he got the most obvious face mask in the world that went unpenalized by the referees, but I digress. So Dallas Goedert, we're going to be missing him for an extended period of time. And that really sucks because Dallas Goedert, he is a big weapon in this passing game. He's a big guy when it comes to third downs, making those clutch catches on third downs. Dallas Goedert, he's a heartbeat of this offense, but you know what? It's a next man up mentality. We can't dwell on that. We just need our other tight ends to step up in place. Guys like Tyree Jackson, who looked really good before suffering an injury years back. Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, who I saw make a really good catch in Washington earlier this year out of nowhere. So it's just a next man up mentality. And there's one player that I want to have a bigger role in this offense. I was saying this before the Goddard injury, but now that Dallas Goedert is injured, I see it as a chance for him to really step up. Quez Watkins. Now, a lot of people are sour with Quez Watkins right now because of the fumble on Monday night that cost us the game. But you know what? I still love Quez Watkins. I'm not going to trash Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins is my boy. He's a speedster. We all saw that bomb against the Minnesota Vikings. Jalen Hurts threw to Quez Watkins week 2. Like Quez Watkins, he is a baller. I'm not gonna let one fumble change or just sour my personal belief on Quez Watkins. I'm not gonna let that one fumble ruin my view of Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins is still that dude. He is still that playmaker. And now that Goddard is down, I think that now is a great time for him to step up in this offense because he's really kind of like the forgotten man when you think about it. When you think of the Eagles passing game, the main 3 weapons you think of are A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Quez Watkins he's forgotten about. But now with Dallas Goedert down, he has to step up and make a presence in this offense. We need to throw to him more. It's not just on him either. We could throw to him a lot more. I don't think we throw to him as much as we do, as much as we should. That was an issue last year. I was surprised that Quez Watkins had over 600 yards last year. And I'm like, how does he have over 600 yards? We barely throw to him. We barely throw to him. And now I want to talk about the defensive side on the ball. This was the main problem in that loss to Washington. I went on earlier saying how the offense was one-dimensional. The number one reason we lost that game to Washington was the defense. It was the defense. So the defensive line, they have to get pressure on Matt Ryan. They got to get pressure. You know that he's not going to bolt from the pocket. He did have a long run against the Raiders last week, but I don't expect that to happen again. Matt Ryan, he's going to stay in the pocket. The defensive line has to get pressure. You cannot give Matt Ryan a huge pocket like that to just dice you up. Taylor Heinicke, like, did you see how white his jersey was? His jersey was clean. Nobody was touching him. He had way too much time to throw. The way he just kept converting those third downs, the way he just kept dicing us up with the pass, it was just disgusting to watch. I'm used to the Eagles' run defense getting gashed this year, but the pass defense, what happened to the pass defense last week? To see us get just destroyed by the pass, that's something that I just did not expect from this team because it's the run that usually kills us, but we're usually stout against the pass, but not last week. So the defensive line, please. Jonathan Gannon. There were times during that Washington game where you were rushing just 3 guys. Just 3 guys. What is that? Blitz the quarterback, Jonathan Gannon. Why don't you like blitzing, man? I just don't get it. That's been an issue with you since last year. You got to send pressure on Matt Ryan. Don't let him get into a rhythm. He came off a very good game last week against the Raiders. Don't let him build up that confidence again. You got to get pressure on Matt Ryan. And then enough with the zone coverage. The Washington game, right? Darius Slay had a pretty bad game against Terry McLaurin, but I attribute a lot of that to the defensive scheme of Jonathan Gannon. You had these corners playing 10 yards off on a 3rd and 2, for example. Why are they playing so far off? Like, press these freaking receivers, man. Man-to-man coverage. Man-to-man coverage. Darius Slay, he's a man-to-man corner. He's not a zone corner. It's like I need to see improvements in his defense. Can we get some input from Vic Fangio, former head coach of the Denver Broncos? Can we please get some input from him? Like, I need this defense to step up this week. Now, I'm not sure if Ndamukong Suh or Linval Joseph are going to play, but they are two big additions to this defensive line. And listen, my game plan for this, you have to take away the run. The best thing that the Colts do is run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, he's a stud. He led the league in rushing last year. We all know what Jonathan Taylor can do. You saw it in Vegas. Now, Jonathan Taylor, he's had an injury-riddled season this year, but last week against the Las Vegas Raiders, you saw that he could still be that guy. If I'm Jonathan Gannon, my game plan, I am stopping the run. I am selling out to the run. I'm stacking the box. The Colts, you cannot beat us with the run. I'm taking the run away. I'm not going to let you run the ball. Bill Belichick, the thing that he does, he'll take away a team's strength. That's what we have to do. I'm taking away Jonathan Taylor. I'm scrubbing him out of this game. I'm not letting you run the ball on me. You know what? If the Colts want to win this game, I'm making them throw the ball. I'm making Matt Ryan throw the ball to Michael Pittman. I'm making him throw to what's that guy's name? Campbell. I'm making Matt Ryan throw to Pierce. I'm making them throw the ball. You cannot run the ball on me. You know what? If you beat me on the pass, that's fine, but you're not going to beat me doing what you love, running the ball. We're stopping that run game. So it's a very intriguing matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't like the matchup at all of our defensive line against Jonathan Taylor. If you're asking me what I honestly believe is going to happen, I do see Jonathan Taylor having a big game because I'm not sure how Jonathan Gannon is going to respond. I'm not sure what Jonathan Gannon is going to do. I don't like this matchup of Jonathan Taylor against our defensive line. I mean, can you blame me? Look at how the defensive line looked against Washington. Look at how they looked the game before Washington, the Houston Texans. Damon Pierce ran all over us. Can you really blame me for not being confident? I believe in the offense, but I don't believe in the defense for this game. That's my thing. I don't believe in the defense. But you know what? I could be wrong. I could be wrong because we saw earlier this season we had an awful defensive performance against the Detroit Lions in week 1. Got ran all over by DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. And you know what? The very next week in our home opener, we destroyed the Minnesota Vikings offense, shut down Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook couldn't run for anything in that game. Kirk Cousins had more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook in week 2. So you know what? I've seen Jonathan Gannon adjust after a horrible defensive performance. So it's not impossible. He could do it again, but will he? Will he? We need this game, guys. We need this win because after one loss, guys, people are acting like, oh, the Eagles are frauds. Oh my God, the Eagles lost one game. Oh no, the sky is falling on the Philadelphia Eagles. They're in trouble. The Eagles' season is over. They're frauds. They lost to Washington, despite the fact that Washington is a divisional opponent and we beat Washington earlier in the year. Oh no, it's all doom and gloom from here for the Philadelphia Eagles. No, guys. Listen, we got one loss. We are still 8-1. We are still on top of the NFC East. We are still on top of the NFC. We are tied for the best record in the NFL at 8-1 with the Vikings that we humiliated on Monday Night Football. We have a tiebreaker over the Vikings. So, listen, an 8-1 team wins this game after a sloppy loss. An 8-1 team responds to that sloppy loss against Washington by dominating the Indianapolis Colts. I like Jeff Saturday. I loved his adamant and unapologetic nature because he caught a lot of heat for this hiring job. For taking this hire. Because a lot of people thought that he wasn't qualified because he's only coached at the high school level. He hasn't coached at the NFL level. And I saw a clip of him saying, you know what, I'm not going to apologize for taking the chance on this job. I can be bad, I can be good, but I'm taking a chance. That was basically the gist of what he was saying. And I love that mentality. I love that. I was applauding him because you know what, that's a great mentality to have. When nobody else believes you, the best thing you can do is believe in yourself. So Jeff Saturday, I see you as a very worthy opponent for tomorrow. So the Philadelphia Eagles shut down the run. And don't be scared to run. You saw us do it against the Jaguars, a very stout run defense at the time, and it worked. So you know what? I'm taking the Eagles to win this game by a score of 28-14. So take care, everybody. Wait. No. I feel like this could be close, actually. Maybe, you know what? Maybe 27-24. 27-24. The Eagles will win this game 27-24. So take care, everybody, and go Birds.